You have to understand that bees don't read the same books that we do. The books that we read say that it takes 10 minutes per hive per week on average to make sure that the bees are in good shape, healthy, they have lots of room, they have food to eat, and that they're doing all the things that bees are supposed to do. In reality, it means, I suppose, that it takes 2 or 3 times as long as that. One's always going to find bits of kit that one hasn't got in the right place. There's always sort of some particular hive that causes extraordinary problems where you have to go digging around trying to find out exactly what's happening inside the hive by looking really closely at the comb rather than looking at the bees. And it just means that time runs away as well. You know, we just find ourselves fascinated and captivated by the bees as well as doing a job while we're actually up here sorting through the hives. They know very well how to make honey. I don't have to tell them how to do that. So it's leaving them alone and only stepping in when there's something that needs correction or help that I get involved. The main challenge we have is storage, because at the peak of the bee season you need quite a lot of hardware. You need many boxes to go on top of the brood box to gather the honey in and to accommodate the ever-growing hive of bees. So we ran out of space very quickly. We also found it difficult to process the honey effectively because honey is very sticky, and when you start spinning it out, it gets even stickier. It goes everywhere, doorknobs, onto your clothing, onto your shoes. It just is pervasive. So the house gets honey dripped through it on the carpet. So we've managed to escape that domestic nightmare and actually bring all of our honey production to one place here in Bermondsey Street. And we also run a sort of honey tasting room here where people can experience the beehives up top and then come just down the stairs and here taste honeys from all around the world in a tutored tasting environment. I think it's really unusual for people to either have their hobby or their business on their roof. So the fact it's so close technically makes it easier to control and to be involved with. In practice though, the time is still limited, and it expands, the amount of work expands to fill it. So I think that Sarah's become more and more involved in the bee business. She's running all of our honey tastings. She's written a planting guide which we're publishing with Berkeley Homes. It's really good to work with her. She's so creative. She really does sort of turn on that whole sort of idea-based excitement of working with the bees and doing new things with our logos, our jar design, and you know, it's really very exciting. In the winter it's time to write reports, which are very sort of time consuming, and people like you writing about what they're going to do in the spring, in the winter, because that's close to it and we can plan for it and get ready to implement all of the new hive and apiary strategies. We mend equipment. We do a lot of selling in the winter as well, because obviously people like to buy honey when there's colds and snuffles are out there. It's a very healthy product. Ours is raw, artisanal, nature's original luxury item. There are squeezy bottles of honey you can buy on Tesco's shelves. There's nothing wrong with them, and the honey comes from, if you look at the label, a blend of non-EU honeys. It's been thoroughly processed to get it to the state that it is on those shelves. Our honey is raw, cold filtered. That's a different product entirely, and people who are in the food business, who enjoy taste, who enjoy purity, who enjoy telling the story of the product, can really understand why they want to buy our honey. Getting stung is it's a movable feast. Sometimes I don't get stung for months, and then I'll get stung 10 times in 10 seconds. If you're carrying a sort of heavy hive along a rooftop and your sleeve slips and the bees start to sting, and where one sting comes, the alarm pheromones are there, the other bees will come and sting in the same place. You can't just drop the hive. So you have to carry on doing it until such time as you can put the hive down, get some smoke onto it to again disrupt the signals that are coming off the smells the bees have left behind, and then you can use the normal sort of 4-letter English Anglo-Saxon words to express your delight with the situation and move on to the next task, just closing up that gap so that it doesn't happen again. Go on and see if we can get the hold of the queen. She'll have a blue dot on her. This is a much more recent frame of eggs that she's laid and turned into this rather nice biscuity brown again. Here's the queen. So if you look in the middle of the frame here, blue dot, can you see that? You can see the other bees are around her, touching her, licking her, feeding her. She doesn't feed herself. They all take the hive smell from her. her pheromones. It's been a late year this year, so I normally would have all the honey off by the middle of August at the latest. But because of the slow start to the year, everything seems to be about a month behind itself. So I'm giving them a bit longer to work the honey and see if we can get a little bit more in before we call it a day. So strap them up good and tight on the rooftop, that's a good strategy. Tools back to where they live. Smoker coming home.
There are some points where I'm just like, I fancy it. It's a little bit like Michelin-starred chefs and they go home and eat beans on toast. Not that we're anything like that, but they're amazing. The carboncinos are absolutely awesome. So that's like a cow, sheep, goat, Italian, quite soft, but get it out half an hour. It's a really good runny dipping, which is nice.